national judicial policy is born out of the realization that the Nigerian judiciary had been adversely affected by the absence of a clear, coordinated policy framework that defined its core morals, values, objects, and aspirations. Such concerns have bordered upon the need to make qualitative and integrity-driven dispensation of justice, which is transparent, honest, trustworthy, the hallmark of a transformed judiciary.
I think at this stage in the development of the Nigerian nation, I think some of these transactions should be made public. They should be public documents. When NJC is involved in investigating judges for either professional misconduct or for crimes, and when I say crimes, crimes can also involve professional misconducts. It could be corruption, it could be stealing, it could be rape, anything that borders on crime. I think it is necessary that it is not just by convention or by moral suasion, but by statutory documentary regulation that such investigative processes be made available to the public.
I think it's an orchestrated media trial, and that is what elicited the kind of response from the judicial officers who now responded also through the media. So I think the issue of being in the domain of the public was initiated by the prosecuting authority and the investigating authority. And of course, you know, that is always a minus, because that is not the way it's done in some other some other civil crimes. So I think it's an aberration, it's a negation of the principle of investigation, so to say. But looking at it from a more radical point of view, there is no way, taking into consideration where we have gotten to, it will be extremely difficult to shut the public out of what is going on. And I think, most importantly, that even going by the provisions of the Constitution, that we're entitled to know what these judges did and what they did not do.
Many thanks for staying with us. Well, we've been talking about the NJC policy, the new National Judicial Council policy. And the policy, well, I've been speaking with Aliyu Abdullahi in our Abuja studios. Aliyu, before we delve into other issues, one question. Should members of the judiciary be treated any differently from every other Nigerian? What makes the trial or the raid on the DSS by members of the judiciary so special?
Thank you, Emmanuel. You see, there shouldn't be any way that the judges, the members of judiciary should be treated different from any other Nigerian. I mean, like I said earlier, we have one set of law, one set of criminal law for the whole country. I mean, yes, you have a distinction for the South and the North, but that's not what we're talking about here. They don't have immunity. Once you don't have immunity, you can be investigated and you can be prosecuted. Even those ones with immunity under Section 308 of the Constitution, they can actually be investigated, but they won't be prosecuted. The result of the investigation will be kept in a cooler until after they leave their offices, vacate their offices before they can be prosecuted. But judiciary, they lack immunity. Nobody can invent an immunity for judiciary because it's not in our laws. So, and again, what made this special, I think, it's because it never happened in the country, in our country, in Nigeria. But when you look at other countries, that is not a new thing where a judge will face corruption charges, misconduct, and so on. We have seen it all over the world, the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, and other places like that. But in Nigeria, no government has had the willpower to go after the judiciary like this government does. And you see, this is a cardinal point on which this government campaigned.
All right, just a moment. Just a moment, Aliyu Abdullahi. I'm now being joined by another legal practitioner, Peace Okoro. She's right here with me in the studio in Lagos. Many thanks for joining us on the program. The NJC policy cuts across, it cuts across quite a broad spectrum. And but interestingly, this new policy is in contrast with the former position of the NJC. You know, the NJC did not quite agree with the NBA on the suspension of the judges who have issues being raised or who were raided by the DSS. But now the new policy says that an investigative, the council has the powers now to place the judge under investigation under interim suspension. So many issues were raised in the new policy. What do you think informed this sudden change in position by the NJC?
Thank you very much, Imana. I think the sudden change has to do with the DSS raid. No, there have been several petitions before the DSS raid against some of these judges that their homes were raided. I think during the process, NJC did their own part, but the public are saying that the part of the NJC did not do enough. So I think that informed the new NJC's decision. Okay, and another thing is that the NJC says any complaints about a judge that is leaked to the media after it comes to it, after it receives such a petition, is going to be discarded. Do you think this is an attempt by the NJC to cloak matters, to cover issues as it affects members of the judiciary? Well, I think that they should not pursue shadows. They should go about the investigation. That a petition was leaked to the media should not stop NJC from doing the necessary, from going ahead with the investigation. By going after the media publication, the leakage, they will leave the substance and start chasing shadow. And it's not good for the judiciary. It's not good for our fight against corruption. Okay, back to Abuja studios now. Aliyu, the NJC says any complaint against a judge or about a judge that is leaked to the media. Obviously, the DSS raid has been in the media space, and suddenly the NJC decides to take this position and say, going forward, any leak to the media will automatically cause the council to discard any such petition to it. What would you think have informed this decision by the NJC?
Well, Emmanuel, a couple of things actually comes to mind. First and foremost, I know where they are drawing these their powers to actually amend this policy to include such things like that, because it says in the Constitution that they have the right of direction and control on misconduct of judges. That agreed, they have that. But if they said even without going to the criminal nature of what some of these judges are accused of, even we stopped at the misconduct and disciplinary issues of the judges. If they said that media trial or media legally conduct their businesses openly, unless otherwise directed not to be so, and it was listed in the cases of minor before people that.
All right. Would you then say that perhaps the NJC might be afraid because it has some things to hide? It might have some skeletons in its cupboard, and it's trying to protect itself.
I think that's the second. That's the second issue I was actually getting to. You see, you have to look at the composition of the NJC as a whole. We have the CJN as the chairman. We have Federal High Court judge, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court as a member, and some of the and 5 state judges are members of this NJC. So you see, it could be a good reason that this the current policy is actually to shield some people that may likely be implicated from the revelations or from the trial of the few judges that we have seen now, because we've had all these stories where some of the chief judges are the ones that are actually that are complicit, giving some of these judges that we already knew in the media these cases and the directions of what to do with these cases. So if this trial should continue, some members of the NJC, with all due respect, may not be excluded from what is coming on. And again,
thank you.
Really good, even for the NJC.
Thank you very much, Aliyu Abdullahi, legal practitioner and public policy analyst, for sharing your thoughts with us on the program tonight. Also, thank you very much, Peace Okoro.
You're welcome.
A lawyer. Thank you. That's our program tonight. Many thanks for being part of the show. I'm Imana Amawe. Bye for now.